What's on, ladies and gentlemen? My name's Ross, I like games, and today, I think I owe a little bit of an apology to Lucemon, or I don't think that's necessarily entirely accurate. I owe an apology to a bunch of other Digimon regarding Lucemon. You see, I made my video about Lucemon, and just to be clear, whenever I make my videos analysing new cards, they're always very honest. I'm giving you my honest appraisal of a new card. I'm telling you the uses that come to mind. I'm telling you how good that I think it is, etc. I am giving you my impressions and analysis of a new card, and it's always completely honest. Never played up, never played down. You are getting my unabridged, honest, uncensored, although with nice language, of course, opinion on a new card. However, when it comes to cards like Lucemon, I don't always mention everything that I could, and Lucemon has a couple of obvious combos that I didn't mention. Now, this wasn't something that I forgot or anything like that. It was a deliberate choice. I chose not to mention these cards because I didn't think they were the best way to play Lucemon. But there were enough people that got in touch with me asking me to reconsider, and it's now started popping up indexed with some of these cards, and I think it is time that I said sorry to Lucemon and started having a look at some of these sillier but potentially better combos. Now, Lucemon, for anyone that's forgotten or is unaware, is a ridiculous card, and I mean that very literally. It cannot evolve from a level 2, it's got to be played as a level 3 normally. There is no evolution cost. We've got a 13 cost to play normally, which would be high for a level 6. It's a level 3. The average level 6 is 11. And it's got 10,000 power, which isn't high for a level 6. The average power is 11. Although, to be fair, for a level 3, that is gigantic, but it's not really fair to call it a level 3 when it's a 13 cost to play normally. But it has a skill whereby if you've got 10 or more cards in your trash, you may reduce its play cost by 8. Which is to say it's now a 5 cost to play from your hand. And that is very, very different. We pay 5 for Bushy Agumon, and Bushy Agumon has seen a whole bunch of play lately. I mean, Bushy Agumon's awesome, right? Bushy Agumon is that one whereby, fine, it's a 5 cost to play normally, but it's got haste, which means that you can attack with it the turn you play it. You don't have that usual rule whereby you've got to wait a turn to attack with it. So paying the extra there seems absolutely fine, and we are totally okay with it. So we don't mind paying 5 for a level 3, as long as there is something there, as long as there's a reason. And quite frankly, here there is a reason. And my conclusion on Lucemon basically was that it is a good enough card. Oh, I should mention, I haven't actually said it yet. When you play it from your hand, because you remember you can't evolve it, you recover 1. That is to say, you put 1 more security card down, which means your opponent is further away from winning the game. It is a frankly awesome card. It is a really good card. And yeah, fine, it's expensive to play normally if you don't take advantage of the extra rule. So you make sure you take advantage of the extra rule. You make sure you've got 10 cards in your trash. And then all of a sudden you're playing it as a 5 cost, 10,000 power with recover 1. And it's a really good card. But a bunch of people basically came out afterwards and said, Wassy, there are some combos here that you're just not taking seriously enough. And they're right, I wasn't taking them seriously enough. It was a deliberate choice on my part. But how about Mastermon? Now, Mastermon's one of these as a purple card, but it's also kind of a yellow card. It is a purple level 6, but it can digivolve from a yellow level 5, so even though it is a purple card, it fits very neatly into yellow decks, and then of course it lets you play purple option cards, etc., because you've then got a purple card on the field. But the key point of Mastermon is that when you digivolve, you may discard 1 security from both players from the top of their security, i.e. both players discard 1 security card, and then you may play a level 4 or less yellow or purple Digimon from your trash without paying its cost. And you're going to play Lucemon. So here, when you digivolve, you discard 1 card from the top of each player's security, and then you get to play a Lucemon from your trash without paying its cost. Now, this is huge in a purple deck. Remember that purple generally does tend to play from the trash quite a bit. It means you can casually trash your Lucemon, and it doesn't matter. But the other key thing here we can talk about is maybe you play Lucemon, maybe you get to get the recovery, etc., then Lucemon goes away, and then you play Mastermon to get it back, so you recover 1. Now, one of the things I didn't like about Mastermon when we first saw it was you discard a security of both players. And sometimes that's going to be beautiful, you're going to be ahead, your opponent's going to be close to losing, etc. And sometimes that is going to be horrendous because giving up that 1 security is going to be the kind of thing that loses you the game. But Lucemon completely mitigates it here. You trash one of your opponent's security, then you trash one of your own, but then you play Lucemon from your trash, and then you recover 1, so your opponent ends up down 1 security, you end up at the same number of security you were before. I still think it's sad that you're not gaining a security as you would generally expect to with Lucemon, but you know what? You don't end up down a security, and your opponent does. The thing is, if we go over to DTCG Review, an awesome Twitter handle you should all be following, and we have a dig through their deck list, Mastermon is just not seeing play. Not in yellow decks, not in purple decks. Mastermon is one that looks good in theory. I didn't buy it at the time, and going and having a look at these deck lists over on DTCG Review, I feel kind of vindicated. Because I'm digging through their deck list, I'm looking at yellow, I'm looking at purple, I'm searching for Mastermon, and it's listed there. But I'm not seeing any deck lists, and I mean any deck lists, actually playing it here. And that's potentially a bit of a problem. Now, another option that people did bring up to me that they thought was going to be kind of cool here was Magnadramon. Now, Magnadramon I like a whole bunch more than I like Mastermon, and I have shown you winning decks recently on this channel that have featured Magnadramon. It is starting to pop up in some decks. Now, Magnadramon here, when you play, if your security is 3 or less, you recover 2, so we've got more recovery, that is awesome, but really, really important to point out, yes, your security's got to be 3 or less, and yes, this is a play skill, not an evolution skill, which is to say, you've got to pay the 11 cost to play it normally. You can't just pay 3 to evolve it up and that will be good enough. And this is all very sad, but once again, you get to actually have 2 more security cards. And that is good enough as far as I'm concerned the vast majority of the time. You're paying 11 cost, but you're getting 2 security cards back for that, as well as having your level 6 on the field. You know, your level 6 will still be in play, so that sounds alright to me. But not only that, when you attack, you may play a level 3 Digimon, a yellow one, from your hand without paying its memory cost. And once again here, we're going straight to Lucemon. And the thing that I like about Magnadramon is, it is when you attack. So you play it as an 11 cost, you recover 2, and then when you attack, you get to play it for free. Now, there is a significant downside to Mastermon here, and that is that it is played from your hand, so you've got to draw your Lucemon. Mastermon can play from the trash, which means you can essentially keep paying it from the trash, which is awesome, but Mastermon scraps one of your securities, so you don't actually gain one, and it's only when you digivolve, so you've got to keep digivolving up into it, etc. Magnadramon, every time you attack, you can play a Lucemon, and you get the recovery, and you recover when you play Magnadramon, assuming you've got security of 3 or less. So I like this a whole bunch better, and it doesn't surprise me that this is what tends to be popping up in some decks at the moment. It has only got 10,000 power, which is lower than your average level 6, which is important for 2 reasons. Number 1, it means that you're unlikely to be able to take out other resting level 6s. Yes, you'll be able to get stuff like Slash Angemon, but I think very much the exception rather than the rule. And also, if you attack the security, you will almost certainly be taken down by a level 6. So that is something you've really got to bear in mind here. And along the same lines as Magnadramon here, we've got the Angel Woman that came around in BT3. And that says, and now this is an inheritable skill, so it's got to be used on a level 6 or 7, which has Digivolved from Angel Woman. But when you attack, if your security is 3 or less, you may play a level 3 or less yellow Digimon from your hand without paying the cost. Now, it is very, very similar to Magnadramon, so we don't need to spend a huge amount of time talking about it. But it's only if your security is 3 or less. If your security isn't 3 or less, you're not going to be able to make use of that skill, and that is a little bit sad. I mean, if you've Digivolved from Magnadramon, you can, or Digivolved Magnadramon from this, I should say, you can literally attack and play 2 Lucemon from your hand, which is awesome. Or you can Digivolve it into something more powerful, so unlike Magnadramon, it is likely to survive a bunch of attacks. With them, you've got to draw into Lucemon, which is a little bit sad, but it's not the end of the world. And the thing to remember all the way along, looking at these weird combo cards, is that you've still got that general skill of Lucemon here, which says that if you've got 10 or more cards in your trash, you can play it as a 5 cost. So all of a sudden you've got Mastermon, Magnadramon, Angel Woman. But you've also got the skill, and this is one of the reasons why Lucemon is going to work and see a bunch of play. I still stand by my opinion from my Lucemon video, which is to say I think it is best when played normally with a trash full of cards. Which is why I think it naturally fits better into purple decks than it does into yellow decks, because purple tend to fill up their trash a little bit faster, or at least they've got the options that they can if they want to. Whereas Magnadramon, Angel Woman, Mastermon, there are combos that need to be pulled off and it's a little bit awkward, but Magnadramon and Angel Woman have started seeing play in a bunch of decks that I've been showing you lately, and I don't think this is going anywhere anytime soon. Lucemon really is lining up as one of the more broken cards we've ever seen, and I think it's fair to say that it is going to just keep popping up in yellow decks and purple decks pretty much until it goes away, or until something happens which makes us turn around and go, well, you know what? Maybe it's not working anymore. Because if you go over to DTCG Review and have a little bit of a look, Lucemon is seeing plenty of play in yellow decks and plenty of play in hybrid decks. Sometimes it is for the combos, sometimes it is just for Lucemon's skill. But either way, if you can find a way to play this quite easily, and we've shown that there are plenty of ways, and you've just got a 10,000 power level 3 that recovers a security card when you play it, that does shape up as one of the more broken cards that we've seen. But now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to hear from you guys. I want to know your opinion on this, so let me know in the comment section. Tell me your favourite way to play Lucemon. Go nuts! Be nice! And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi, where we talk Digimon and a whole bunch of other card games, and please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio, where you can support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all kinds of fun things. But by far the most important thing as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching Wasi Plays.